Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. This is a special week for us because it is our year anniversary of being asked to publish Spellbound. And so what we thought we would do is kind of take you on a little journey with us of what the past year has looked like and what you could expect if one day your story was chosen to be published. As you can see, we are not on bookstore shelves yet. So this is a slow process. And so we're going to walk you through it so you can just kind of get some ideas and get a feel for it because it's not quick at all. Now, keep in mind, this does change if you are somebody that is choosing to go with an indie publisher. Usually those books will hit Kindle or whatnot within 9 months. If you're choosing to self-publish, it's all up to you. You could literally write a book this week and publish it next week. I don't know how that's going to turn out for you. It's going to be very sloppy, but you could do it. Let us take you on this journey with us. Rachel, what was the first thing we had to do after we were presented the opportunity to publish Spellbound?
Well, before you can do anything, you have to sign the contract before you can move forward with any step at all. You would think that you could just wait for the contract, until like the next day or something, because like they would have that ready, right? And then you could just like get it and like send it over to a lawyer and like, they would just look at it and it would just take a couple of days and you could like send it over and sign it and then easy, right? Like just a week max, right? No. Just sure. waiting for the contract alone was like a week or longer. I don't know. It took a while. So then and to be fair, this was like a year to the day almost after COVID was like huge. So to be fair, it was bad. Everything was slow. When we got it, you don't sign it right away. Please. If anyone sends you a contract, I don't care what it's for, do not sign it without having a lawyer look at it first. Luckily for us, my cousin is an entertainment lawyer, so she agreed to represent us. You're going to have to shell out some cash. And it's worth it though, because you need to make sure that everything that's in that contract is best for you. Because, let's just be real. Everybody is looking out for themselves. Wattpad wants what's best for us, but Wattpad also is a business. So they want to make money. We want to make money. We all want to make money. So we have to make sure that we're getting like a happy medium. And that's why you want a lawyer to be able to look at it and make sure that you're getting the best deal for you. So it took her a little bit to look at it and give it the thorough inspection that it deserved. Sends it back to us. We look at it, send it back to them. They send it to their lawyers. Their lawyers take their sweet time because that's what lawyers do. They have other clients. They have to look at it. Then we take it back. We send it to her again. Make sure that she likes the changes they made. She sends it back to us. And then finally we sign it. And after all of that, that was like 8 weeks.
So then once you sign the contract, it's time to hand over the manuscript. And the funny thing is you're handing over your manuscript and you're going, well, you wanted the manuscript, so you clearly think the story is great. And perfect. The changes we're going to have to make into the story itself, minimal, right? Because you loved it. But we're sending it off to content edits. And this takes a while. It's not like they turn it around in 2 weeks. It was
about a month.
Like, go through everything, read through it, and every question that your editor has about the content of your story. Why is this character doing this? You didn't explain this. How come this? You're just answering a lot of questions. This first content edit took us the longest. It was basically a rewrite of the entire story. One of the things that we really got called out on is we love strong female characters. We love them to have other women around them that are strong. We pride ourselves on being best friends and business partners that want to take control of our careers and show
other women to be strong women in real life.
Where's Gemma's best friend? How come every woman around Gemma is a piece of shit? Ooh, so we have to make some changes. Things like this are what we had to add into our story. We had to explain some things, add some things, and even talking about the environment of our story and wanting, especially the hotel in our story, to feel a little bit more like a character. So these were things. Our narrative was a little weak. Explain some of Gemma's feelings towards things, so we had to spruce up our narrative a little bit.
The magic system, the backstory of the boys and why they were there, that whole thing. I forgot about that. That was horrific. We got the edit letter when I was in Florida on vacation, and I was like, still like so naive up until we got the edit letter. I was still like, this is gonna be easy. They love the story. There's no way there's gonna be a lot of changes. No way. And of course, there's a ton of changes, right? So,
do you remember how many pages it was?
It was like 15 pages of just the letter alone, without all of the explanation of what the marks mean and the general things to look for in the manuscript. It was 15 pages of specific things to us, to this manuscript, and it was humbling, truly humbling moment.
But let's also put your meltdown in perspective, because it was not a good day for you already. So you received this with all these changes, and what happened to you prior to receiving our first round of content edits?
Well, I did almost drown. Definitely was an emotional day already. So I did have that as an excuse for the meltdown. But the meltdown came with the statement of, you need one of two things with this story. A prologue, or B, a flashback. Ew, to both. We didn't want to do either one of those things, but it was necessary because we needed to show the relationship between Gemma and her dead great aunt who leaves her this hotel. And why it was such a big deal is because we hate prologues. We had just went on a rant on a YouTube video not that long before that, about why you needed to drop your prologue. And
here we are.
About to write one in our published book that's going to be on bookshelves. Like, I felt like the biggest fraud. But once we really sat and thought about it, we were like, it is necessary. And so that's what we decided to do. And now we love the prologue that we wrote.
I read that prologue now, and I'm really proud of it. And it conveys so well the relationship between Gemma and Hazel, and gives you a little moment, a tiny moment, between Hazel and one of the boys. And that moment between Hazel and one of the boys is so great. Like, the way he talks to her and approaches her in that moment, even though she's looking like this older woman now because they age differently, she's this older woman and he's this young man, and he's having this like conversation with this older woman that is just heart melting. It's so good.
We did all of those. Part of them we got to do in person because I came to see you the next month. It was hard in person. It was hard on the computer, 1,400 miles away. It was hard to do these edits, period. I think we had them from the end of June until the middle of August because it was right when school started. I remember it being such a panic for me. But then, hold on. They keep it for a while, and then they send it back again.
With more content edits.
And then, because they have to content edit the stuff you added. We weren't done with content edits until December. We sent it back to them right before Christmas. So after we turned in the content edits in December, we got a little break from the edits, and they sent us something else to look at, which should have been so exciting. And it was. For like a minute.
You have to remember that you get sent the cover, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you get input into it. It just depends on the publisher. The publisher has a final say. So we're really lucky that Wattpad wanted our input in the cover they sent us, which was not, at one point we got some little comps to look at, like this is a color scheme we're planning on going with. Here's an idea of the pictures we want to use with it, and here comes this cover, and it's none of those comp covers, which was okay that they changed it, because the covers we were looking at were really more YA than being an adult story. Yeah. So we were glad they made the changes. The woman on the front was a little bit more sexy, and she was plunging necklines, and the color scheme was perfect. There were orbs. Like, it is amazing. And our first thought is, this is great. And then I can't quit looking at artistic things like that because I'm really like studying them because, you know, we've talked about before, I really love Photoshop stuff. And there's one thing that's really sticking out to me. And I can see that the artist has made an attempt to take somebody who has dark hair and give her lighter hair as our main character has.
Right.
And they've done this kind of blurry, fuzzy, brassy thing on top of her head. And it makes her look like she had a bad night at the Roxbury, which is definitely not the timeline we're working with here. I'm really worried about this for me personally because it was becoming a turnoff to me to look at it. That's the first thing. We send this off and we're like, can we do something about the hair? And then that seems like it's it until I keep on looking at it and I'm thinking about it in a thumbnail on Amazon. And I'm realizing that the text on it is blending with the background. It's not so much a problem that it blends as it is that when a potential reader looks at a book and it looks like it has no name on the cover, it looks cheap. Like, whoever made this cover was so cheap, they didn't even come up with a title for it.
Yeah.
Now we have to write another email where we have a problem with the font is fine, but you know, what you've used on it, the treatment on the font is not working.
So we're like, okay, cool. So we send it and they're like, oh, okay, fair enough. We'll bring that up at our production meeting. Except the designer has now gone off the grid. This is a big problem because we can't get in touch with this person. This person has all of the parts for the Photoshop file. So we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're still waiting on March 13th. And this is frustrating to us because we have spent so long telling people you have to market your book from day one when you know it's going to be published. You can't wait till it's about to be on the bookstore shelves because that's not the way this works. So we are ready. I've got all these TikTok ideas. I'm ready to post them, but I can't do that because I can't post them and then I'm going to have people ask me, okay, well, where can we buy this book? I can't tell you that yet because we can't do a cover reveal. We can't give you the release date. We can't do any of that stuff right now. And then you're going to be like, well, I don't care then. If you can't tell me where to read this book, I'm going to lose interest. And we're beyond wanting to move them to Wattpad to read it for free. So we're just kind of stuck, and we don't like being stuck waiting for someone else to give us what we need.
The great news is it's a learning moment for us. So we're frustrated, but we've always talked about self-publishing. And now we have an idea of something that we need to make sure we have in place with people that are helping us, whether it's an editor, a cover designer, whoever's coming in. We need to have a clause in our contract with them that talks about communication, and that if you go off the grid and you fail to communicate with us after so long, we're going to consider it that you abandoned the project and you're not going to get paid. We have so much time before we release the book, and we want to make sure that people are seeing the cover, they're becoming familiar with the cover, they're becoming familiar with the story, and they want to read it. So take that, put it in your little pocket, that if you're ever dealing with somebody, there needs to be a clause in the contract about communication and how long they're allowed to go off grid with you before you need to move on and find somebody else to do it, and they're not going to get paid. So then we go to line edits. It was nothing. That was easy. Line edits, sure. We accept. Yeah, we can elaborate a little bit more on this. That was pretty easy.
We had 2 rounds of those. But in one of those rounds, there was a content edit snuck in there. And there was a couple things we needed to change, which was fine. And then after the line edits is the copy edits, which is where it's literally like proofreading. And for that, they brought in another editor, a copy editor, because Fiona, our new editor that we got back in, I guess, like in the fall, who's awesome. We love her. She's read the story like as many times as we have at this point, and we needed a new set of eyes. And plus, copy editing is a bit different than actually, it's a lot different than content editing. She noticed a pretty big thing that we needed to change that we never noticed, and Fiona never noticed. So we were so thankful for that because it was something that was big. So we got that done, and the copy edits were so easy because copy edits are done for you for the most part. She's already changed them because they're all grammar things. I'm not meaning to like toot my own horn, but toot because I'm good at grammar and spelling and all of that. So all of that was really good. That was easy. And so that was sent off. And so now we are literally sitting here. We'll get to see it one more time for the proofreading / formatting. Like the next time we see it, it will be like in like the form. Like it'll be in like the little page form. Like we have to see like the little chapter heading, a little name at the top. So let's see it. It'll look exactly as it will look when we get it like in our hands. And I think that time we will read it out loud one more time. And so now we literally are waiting for the freaking cover so we can have our little cover release, our release date, and we can go ahead and start getting people to pre-order this damn book because we are so beyond ready to get people on board for this.
Everything we've done, of course, is really important. But from day one, we decided people were going to come along on the journey with us. We weren't going to be shy about talking about that Spellbound's being published. It is all of our social media. It is on our Wattpad. And it wasn't about tooting our own horn. I think a lot of people get marketing yourself and your book caught up with feeling like you need to be humbled. This is not a time to be humbled. This is a time to go out and shout it from the rooftops and talk about it a lot.
Yes.
We've talked about it on this channel before that it takes a consumer 8 times, that is the marketing grand number here, 8 times of seeing a product before they really are interested enough to click on it, to go and actually pick it up, to go to a store and look into it. This is really important. And as I always watch people and how they've marketed their books prior to it coming out. This isn't about the day that the book comes to you and then doing a book reveal. Like, that's important. But we should have been talking about it before the book was ever, went to production and now it's in your hand.
Yep.
We should be talking about everything. We've talked about little changes we've made. We've gone on our lives with our followers and been like, oh, you guys will be so excited. These little changes that you're going to see in the story. We're constantly hyping up that what you see on Wattpad was a first draft, and what you're going to have in your hands come the fall is a totally different book. It has really changed a lot. So I am encouraging you that if you are going to go on this journey and I don't care who's going to publish you. I don't care if you're going to self-publish. That book needs to always be kind of at the forefront of whatever you're talking about when you are branding yourself and you're sharing everything, because ultimately we want to keep on doing this with the people that love to read our stories. And to do that and to be dedicated to this, we need to sell books.
Yeah.
We cannot tell you how important that is, because we really believe that all these little marketing steps, while we're doing all the other things we need to do, are going to play a big factor in making our books successful at the bookstore. If you want to go read Spellbound, this is going to be the last time we're going to talk about this. You can go read the first draft of Spellbound on Wattpad at Crystal and Felicity. It is still free at the time of this recording, which will probably change down the road somewhere. So go check it out, get excited, fall in love with the story as it is, and know that what's coming to bookstores in September
New and
is a
improved.
totally different book.
So much
Totally different book.
And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And make sure that you click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates for the next part of our journey.
And as always, write what you love.